Hi, welcome back to Sage Thyme. How's everybody? Yeah. All right, we're doing a reading today. Just a regular old reading. Getting a little bit of a break from all the different guidances. Have you also been being called to really step outside the box in your expressions? We've got both Neptune at 29 degrees in Pisces and Uranus at 29 degrees in Taurus, both retrograde, both very close to exact by the minute in a sextile, right? And they're both in the anaretic degrees, so this is the challenging degree. Some more traditional astrologists narrate this as kind of the evil or the hard, and it's challenging for sure. However, it's challenging like that, you're studying and studying and studying, and it's the final hours to study for a final exam, or you've been practicing in soccer for weeks for this championship, well, for a year, and these last weeks you've been pushing yourself really hard, or all those types of scenarios. I mention a lot the final pushes before moving through the birth canal, or to move through the birth canal. So 29 degrees is the challenge point, but we don't have to make it we don't have to make it evil. Even when, by all standards of human description and narrative, maybe people or even yourself find yourself or others being particularly opposite of awesome. The animals are playing. There's some good energy running around right now. Everything serves not just the greater good. Everything serves you moving into and living your best life, your highest timeline, and your greatest good, all wrapped up into one little super sweet, awesome package. And when you choose and say it out loud to make it really known that this is what you're choosing, when you choose that your best life, your highest timeline, your greatest good, all the bests for you in your life is in exact alignment with the greater good of all, it's amazing how that starts to unfold. And by amazing, I don't say it's always like, yay, but it gets there. And it has the ups and downs, of course. But there's this sense of, it's like, I received a message a while ago about breaking down the old programs and paradigms of purpose. And when I wrote it, something within me, all throughout me, just inherently knew what that meant. But my brain couldn't quite wrap itself around what that meant. I think my brain, my ego, my personality self was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. But that's because that gnosis within me understood it. And that's fine, because all of me was in agreement that, the work that I'm doing right now is in co-creation and collaboration with other transmuters, breaking down the structures and the programs and conditionings and so forth of human purpose, which, So this is just coming up with this after I just said this, that when we state within ourselves and really integrate it to a place where we're ready to say it out loud and say, I am choosing to live my best life and my highest timeline and my greatest good in life, however it comes out, all the things, right? And I know, because I choose, so I know that my best life, my best, highest timeline, my greatest good is all in alignment with the greater good of all. That is a purpose. And the best part about it is we don't involve the mind in the figuring out of it. We don't involve the ego, the personality self. Not ego the way people use it to weaponize each other. We're not doing that. Ego is the self-identifying personas. We don't have to get that involved because we've done enough work, and we're continuing to do the work to quiet the mind, enter our consciousness within that internal universe, anchoring through the heart portal, which is that, well, the term that's used now most popularly is the Christ consciousness. But there's an older term for it that wants to come through, and I feel like it's Sumerian, but I also feel like it's older than that too. Part of it is, and I don't know the Sumerian name of it, but the way. And I was taught many years ago by a minister, actually, who taught me that the Christ, that the word Christian, coming from the term Christ, in ancient Sumerian translates as the way. And there's a lot of dispute and debate as to where the man Jesus, the Christ, went to study is with Buddhism and all these other philosophies that really enriched his personal practice and his connection to the divine consciousness. And then, of course, all the things happened with dogma and religiousizing it and everything. Point is, the way. So something about that with this heart portal that's in modern days often referred to as Christ consciousness. Well, people still sometimes think that's up here, but it's here in the heart. But I want to I want to open myself up to receive the more accurate term for it or phrase for it. It could be Christ consciousness through the heart, or the way. I'm on a tangent here, and it's funny that I was ready to just go right into a regular reading, but here we are with me being outside the box again. And that's what wants to be done. We are in the time of being in alignment and enjoying the rhythm and enjoying the flow. And sometimes it's this and it's this beat and it moves like this. And other times it slows down and it's softer and more centralized. And other times it's, it's this jazz blues riff. And but we know it's right because we know we're in alignment with it. Even the parts where we're in that contractile purging, compression, reorganizing, restructuring, and birthing anew. I was in it yesterday. And even when we're in those, I really recognized yesterday the distinction of how much more each time I enter those, which is pretty frequently still, how much more it feels right, as painful as it is, or the tears, or the wanting to scream in a pillow, or the sweats, or whatever is happening emotionally, physiologically, all the things, right? Neurologically with Uranus and Neptune. I mean, in their sextile, in the anoretic. Okay, let's just briefly touch on that. How are we going to get to the cards? Who knows? Okay, so the big challenge. This is the final moment, the last 3 seconds on the field. Is it gonna be a touchdown? I mean, I don't know my football enough, but this is where we're at. And yet also they're both in retrograde. and they will start going in the next couple months, month and 2 months, I believe, into direct motion. And these are our slow planets. So they dig in hard and they dig in deep. And when they go backwards, it's like, I was being shown the image of, if you have a big wide push broom on a sidewalk outside, and there's all this dirt, it's been there for a while, and you're pushing and pushing, and you're making some progress, but there's still a lot of dirt left over. That's the forward movement of our bigger, heavier outer planets, that pushing forward slow and just digging it in and everything. But then they go retrograde and they pull it back, and the distinction of the direction of the bristles along with the direction of the motion forces that crusty and the dirt and everything on those sidewalks to come up in a different way. And it digs it in and up, right? I know you know what I'm talking about. One moment, please. So right now we have Neptune in her house of Pisces, going backwards in the final degree of her house, the most challenging. This is the moment of the test. Energy. And she's digging in and she's moving across slow, but she has already done this motion on this point. So this is the final sweep through and out. This is the final cleanse in and out. So when we're talking about Neptune, yeah, we talk about things like illusion and delusion and addiction and getting lost in the vastness of Pisces and so forth. And that is the lower octave of it. And no doubt, in some way, at least, if not in all the ways, those of us who have been doing the work have had to face those lower octaves and integrate them, because that's our role here. Whether it was by direct and obvious and willing choice, or marginalization types choices, or it's the best worst choice there is, we've done those lower octave things and we've improved ourselves through them. And now there's just one more sweep back to break up that final layer of the dirt, to uncover the beautiful stone at the of the path, right? Perfect analogy. And then when Neptune goes direct, it'll sweep it through finally clean, the last little particles of dust. And this is the opening of the higher octaves. We've already felt it, we've been practicing it, we've stumbled and we've slipped amongst it and backwards and everything. But this is the path of the mystic. The mystic that can grasp and open up to vast amounts of gnosis. Yeah, it's gnosis. It's that Akashic record when we directly ask for information or how-tos on something, how to understand things, concepts, maybe even accessing imagination to art, whether it's through standard types of art, drawing, painting, clay, writing, all those things, or it's art like creating new infrastructures of the advanced for all types of companies. Companies that are round tables instead of hierarchies, which are really, talk about a pyramid scheme. That's capitalism at its finest. It's probably good I don't have very many viewers. Oh, pyramid schemes and capitalism. Oh, patriarchy. You're such gaslighters. Okay. A little chuckle there. So that's what Neptune's up to in her sign of Pisces. Now, and this is collectively speaking, not sidereal. because I don't want to go there right now. We will be going there, I'm told, in the near future-ish. And then in a cooperative movement, we've got the sextile with Uranus and Taurus doing the same thing, retrograde in the nanometer degree of Taurus. I'm not going to go too much. There's a lot of astrology that can go into that. But Taurus is to the point. Taurus has practicality, but Taurus also loves lush, right? This is where one of the constellations that is home to Venus. Lush and fertile and in fruition. And with Uranus moving back and forth at this 29 degrees of going into Gemini just a skosh, and in this reverse, what do you want to say about that, Spirit? What do you want to say about that? Huh. No, that deck's not going to give me what I need. I was going to just start talking and saying words until the right thing comes out, but this is where we're going actually now. I mean, and I can say all the things that you may already know with Uranus, right? And Taurus. Uranus is the shocking surprise. It's the almost like the older god of the god Mercury. But Uranus comes with a good bit of chaos and swirly, stormy, electric winds. This is why we talk about things like technology with Uranus. Huh. It's interesting. I drew a couple animal cards at the beginning. I'm sure you saw me shuffling. And it's funny because the things I'm being guided to say and the cards, I'm not seeing the alignment. Okay, here it's coming in. Okay, well, let's see what they want this card, so let's do it. So Uranus and Taurus, we got the card butterflies. And these are the blue butterflies. I don't know the names of them. And they're hovering around this tree, but it's reminding me of the monarch butterflies going back to their mother tree. Transformation, joy, beauty, transience. Okay, that sounds a bit Uranus to me too. Definitely transformation, surprising transformation, a joyful surprise, beauty. So this up-leveling in, it's like this, it's like you guys are feeling this up-leveling in the joie de vivre, the joy of life. And it feels a bit like you're in a new dimension and an upgraded timeline, or an upgraded dimension and a new timeline. And that goes with the transience. So, I mean, this is what we're talking about in Taurus, a new birth. And, okay, I get it now. When the caterpillar goes in and it's doing its thing and he's living his life and he's doing his chrysalis, he's not thinking he's becoming a butterfly. He's following the coding and the programming of his internal system. And he has no idea. It's a shock. It's a surprise. So when he pops out of that and he's got wings and everything, he's like, whoa, this is the new me. And he also inherently knows what to do with it. That's Uranus in Taurus. You are moving into a very surprising new form. And not only form, but state of being and seeing and experiencing the world. So different and new that it's almost shocking, except something inside you has always known it, but your mind never grasped it because it was hidden and kept from your mind. So, we wouldn't funk it up. And that is Uranus in Taurus. So if you are with a connection to Pisces and Neptune, if you're experiencing dreams, a lot of different dreams, I'm feeling like these dreams are showing you and giving you experiences of aspects of your past with aspects of your future that are coming together in this entirely new, surprising, transformative, and also just deeply inherently true reality for yourself. And it's a huge upgrade. It's a huge upgrade. So stick with what you've been doing. Stick with making the best choices you can, and stick with the grace of knowing that whatever those choices are, that they're right. Because when you know and you give yourself grace and that internal soul spark, the inner child that we've been working with and healing and mending, when you give them the presence of loving attendance and communication and embrace, and I'm going to use this word, but not in the way most of us are familiar with, and discipline, but that tender discipline, or yes, that tender discipline, because all of us at our core self are tender, and we don't need to be screamed at or belittled or objectified or neglected to do the right thing. We just need to be spoken to with presence and care and listening and that honor and respect. And the only person that can do that to those inner parts of us that were neglected and rejected and harmed and hurt by others and maybe ourselves, that we have lost. But during this very long extended stage of being in our chrysalis, we're pulling those shards of, or flints of our consciousness back. This is part of the soul return. We're pulling it in, we're pulling it in. And the more we do it, the more we're conscious of what's going on and the time frame of when we lost that part and how to be present with it and nurture it and care for it. And the discipline is the consistency. That's really the synonymous word with it. The discipline is consistency of presence and care, self-protection, communication, right? What are all the keys to a truly healthy, balanced, prosperous, enjoyable, passionate, abundant relationship? These are all the keys. Presence, communication, compassion, nurturing, reasonable paradigms, boundaries. Yes, reasonable boundaries. Working together, relinquishing the personal fears and attachments for co-creative, cooperative, working together, these types of things. And when we really refine that within ourselves to such a degree that we have everything that we need and want and desire already within ourselves, because we've unveiled and unfurled and healed and mended and uplifted and evolved all the layers, levels, and dimensions of our inner being. And we've collected all the timelines of all those shards of our soul self that were lost and broken off, and created other, anywhere from very definitive and strong timelines to vague, dreamy type ones. But there have been many, for many of us who have been doing this journey, many timelines that were created by the many pieces of lost soul. And we've been pulling those timelines in, integrating them, observing them, learning what they needed to teach us, and then containing those quantitative and qualitative aspects of our consciousness, our soul, containing it back within our body in a way that feels like home. I'll show you these 2 cards that came out, the animal cards, and then we'll wrap it up. So we've got dog, friend, loyalty. There's the other one, right? It says, today I will love without condition. My energy and enthusiasm are an inspiration. I choose to be happy. I am a protector and a friend. That's who you are to your universe, your internal universe, which is comprised of a grand collective of consciousness. And the more you bring that in, the more you raise up closer and closer to your next level of higher self. Because what is the higher self? It's the already always future developed and evolved version of you. So much so that it is a collection of all of your consciousness, which is developed over time as well. And then, did I show you the card? I don't think I did. There you go, friends. And then hummingbird, miracles. You are the joy bringer. You bless the world with positivity and love. Energy soars, energy soars on your shining wings. Spread the miracle of happiness. And for funsies, let's read this with the I am. So you can say it out loud with me or feel it as and say it within yourself to yourself and proclaim it. I am the joy bringer. I bless the world with positivity and love. Energy soars on my shining wings. I spread the miracle of happiness. That's you. That's your community that you're pulling in. This is what you're creating. You are these things, my friend, and so much more. So beautiful you are. Thank you for being here with me this evening. Have a lovely, blessed, peaceful, and enlightening evening. Ahom.